I saved $1,000 by making this solid wood table by myself. It started with this massive piece of solid wood that I stole for free from a garage sale. I've always wanted a mid-century style giant dining table that doubles as a work table. So I designed a T-shaped table leg with circles and a cabinet for storing extension cords, plus a pocket for putting my phones and other easy-to-grab items. I got all my solid wood cut in the workshop this time because solid wood is much heavier and denser than plywood, which is already hard enough for me. Next, I have to drill the decorative holes through the thick solid wood, and here's an important tip.
Press gently and do not apply too much force. Bob this around slowly so that you cover all the edges of the circle.
Be slow, because otherwise, this would happen. Another reason why I slipped is because I tried to use an air compressor to increase the force of my drill. It was a bad decision because I didn't have enough arm strength to hold the saw in place. So let's all be safe and work within our limits. But then, how do we penetrate this wood if we don't have enough arm strength to use a saw?
Change your tools and we're gonna extract this part so that we can continue drilling the hole.
Yes, that's right. Wood the Builder never gives up. If I can't use an air compressor, I could always use the old school method to chisel away the center.
I'm getting better at this. After you have chipped off all the excess, the hole should look like this. And then you are ready to continue drilling.
Now, you only have to drill through a thin layer, and this is a great way to save energy and to prevent your drill bit from dowling. Before the final cut,
you need to flip this over and drill from the other side so that we do not get any fuzzy edges.
And look at the final result. It took me a whole day to just drill these holes, and now I am sanding the holes with a flat wheel attached to my drill. Then comes my nightmare with the air compressor. Right now, I am totally regretting my decision to use solid wood because it is so hard that only an air compressor could push a nail through it. And here's how loud the air compressor is. Yikes, I was not feeling calm. But thankfully, I got used to the noise, and you can see me finishing up the cabinet frame by securing the baseboard. I wanted 2 compartments on each side, so I'm sliding a middle board in, and then nailing it in place from the outside. Now comes the roofing ceremony. Hopefully, I don't miss any studs as I reinforce the whole cabinet. After I finish the cabinet table leg, I move on to the T-shaped leg. Since this piece is thicker than a typical nail joint, I use dowel pins as the connector. First, I drilled matching holes in the 2 surfaces I wanted to join. Then, I squeeze a bit of wood glue into the holes and tap the dowels in. After that, I coated the exposed ends with glue, lined the pieces up, pressed them together, and that was it. Now, I am going to stain all the pieces with wood wax. For those who are curious, the rich tones you see on walnut or honey oak furniture usually come from a wood stain. Most stains are oil-based, allowing the pigment to sink into the grain and bring out the natural texture of the wood. Wax not only enhances the color, but also helps seal and protect the surface, reducing moisture penetration and slowing down rot. I'm using an eco-friendly wood wax because I've been trying to avoid conventional wood paint, which often contain volatile organic compounds. Then I ran out of wood wax and had to paint the cabinet leg a day later with a different wax. I was worried because the shade of walnut looked lighter than the previous, or it might be the outdoor lighting. That's a lot of area to cover for the cabinet side, and even the most satisfying task turned boring. But I gotta work hard for that delayed gratification. After all, I think it has always been part of my Taurus moon personality to carry on with boring tasks even without apparent rewards. My friends always joke that I will excel in the labor camp. A huge sigh of relief. The 2 sides are pretty much the same color. Then I had to put in the rest of my components. Oops, jabbed my finger. Here's a reminder to always wear your gloves. But my shelf panel is looking so good, so it's worth it. Then I attached the door hinges. My cabinet finally started looking like an actual cabinet. It closes so smoothly, and honestly, years of assembling IKEA furniture really paid off with this first try success. Now comes my proudest design detail, a little compartment for phones and other easy-to-grab essentials. I created it by attaching a small wooden support underneath the tabletop, making it narrower than the cabinet leg. Okay, now the final step, mounting the tabletop. I needed some help with this one. Ta-da! I have made the perfect dining table for, by the way, my grandmother's home. Follow me on how I choose chairs for this mid-century dining table and how I style her new home.